Your 20s feel like the decade where everything is supposed to come together. You've got income, you've got freedom, you've got time, and yet somehow most people finish their 20s with almost nothing saved, a pile of debt, and this quiet feeling that they somehow fell behind without ever knowing when it happened. And the frustrating part? It's rarely because of one big disaster. It's almost always the same five mistakes, repeated quietly for years. My name is Tom, and I spend way too much time thinking about the money mistakes people make in their 20s. If this hits close to home, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get into it. Mistake 1. Treating your 20s like a financial warm-up. Here's the most expensive lie people believe. I'll get serious about money later, when I earn more, when life settles down, when I actually have something to save. But here's what most people don't realize. Your 20s aren't the warm-up. They're the most powerful decade you have. Not because you earn the most, you don't, but because of time. Let's look at the math. Someone who invests $200 per month starting at 22 will have significantly more by 45 than someone who invests $400 per month starting at 32. Same money per month. One person just started 10 years earlier. Waiting feels harmless. It isn't. Every year you delay costs you more than the year before. Mistake 2. Confusing lifestyle with wealth. This one is subtle, and it gets a lot of people. You get your first real paycheck, maybe your first raise, and suddenly you upgrade. Better apartment, newer phone, nicer clothes, dinners out instead of cooking, and it feels like progress because your life looks better. But looking wealthy and building wealth are completely different things. One shows up on your Instagram, the other shows up in your bank account. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Your brain adjusts to every upgrade almost immediately. That new apartment is exciting for about 6 weeks, then it becomes normal, then you want the next thing, and before you realize it, your income has grown significantly, but your savings look exactly the same as they did 3 years ago. The fix isn't suffering, it's a simple rule. Every time your income grows, save at least half of the increase before you touch it. Enjoy the rest guilt-free, but protect the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is where wealth actually lives. Mistake 3. Avoiding investing. Because it feels complicated, a lot of people in their 20s know they should invest. They just don't because it feels overwhelming. Too many options, too much jargon, too much risk of doing it wrong. So they wait until they understand it better, which means they never start. Here's the truth. You don't need to understand everything to start. You need to understand enough. Broad index funds have historically averaged around 10% annual returns over the long term. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to time the market. You just need to start putting consistent money into diversified, low-cost investments and leave it alone. The biggest investing mistake in your 20s isn't picking the wrong stock. It's not starting. Because time in the market matters far more than timing the market. Mistake 4. Carrying high interest debt. Like it's normal. Credit card debt in your 20s is so common that most people treat it like a background condition, just part of life. Pay the minimum, deal with it later. But here's what's actually happening. If you carry $3,000 in credit card debt at 20% interest, and you're only paying the minimum, you could spend years paying it off and hand the bank hundreds of dollars in interest alone. That's money that could have been working for you. Instead, it's working against you. High-interest debt is the opposite of investing. Investing grows your money. High-interest debt shrinks it, quietly, every single month. The move is simple but not easy. Stop adding to it. Then attack the highest interest balance first while making minimums on everything else. And once it's gone, treat that payment like a raise you just gave yourself. Mistake 5. Having no system, just intentions. This is the biggest one, and it's the most honest. Most people in their 20s don't have a money problem. They have a system problem. They intend to save. They plan to invest. They mean to check their spending. But intention without a system is just a wish, and wishes don't compound. Here's the difference. An intention sounds like, I should really start putting money aside. A system sounds like every payday, $300 automatically moves to a separate account before I can touch it. One requires willpower, the other doesn't. Automating your savings and investments removes the decision entirely. You stop relying on motivation that fluctuates and start relying on a structure that doesn't. Set it up once, let it run. And suddenly, you're the person who saves consistently without thinking about it. Here's the honest summary. The 5 mistakes aren't complicated. Waiting to start, inflating your lifestyle, avoiding investing, normalizing bad debt, and running on intentions instead of systems. None of them feel catastrophic in the moment. That's exactly what makes them dangerous. But here's what's also true. Your 20s are still the best time to fix this. Not because you have lots of money, but because you have time. And time is the one financial advantage you can't buy back. 5 years from now is arriving whether you're ready or not. The question is what side of these mistakes you'll be standing on when it gets here. If this video helped, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Which of these 5 mistakes hit the hardest? I'm genuinely